Time to delve into the papers with Sam Stevens. Sam, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Manchester United Arsenal, once upon a time, was the game of the season. Quite often it dictates who would win the league. Lots of reasons why that's not the case now. But interesting that today's game, Sam, comes off the back of the release of the 1999, is it no, it's Amazon Prime doc, sorry.
That's right, yeah. 25 years, obviously, since that fantastic season for United, and it feels like we're sort of 25 years away from that ever happening again at the moment, don't we, where United are at. Lots of focus on that in the papers this morning. And an interview with Erik ten Hag in The Star from Simon Mullock, who says he insists he's not lost the dressing room at Man United, and the under-pressure Red Devils boss also believes he's got the backing of the Old Trafford fans, as owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe agonises over whether to stick or twist with the Dutchman. He said, Ten Hag, if I look at the problems we've faced and all the injuries we've had in almost every game, the players have still fought. There's been great team spirit, which is something that you can talk about with the 1999 side, that's for sure, with all those late winning goals and things. But not on Monday night, and that's why I was disappointed. I was really disappointed, and the players were disappointed with themselves. There was a collective failure. Speaking about that 4-0 defeat to Crystal Palace on Monday. Cass, is this thing about downing tools a reality in football, do you think?
No, I don't agree with it, because I don't remember playing in any teams that had literally chucked in the towel. I don't remember that. You can be beaten up in a game. You can be beaten quite comfortably, and people have the perception to say, well, they didn't try. Well, I don't remember not trying myself, and I don't remember accusing my fellow colleagues of not trying. There's sometimes that things do happen. I mean, Man United are just a bad side. Yeah. You know, whatever we say, they haven't got legs. One thing, I mean, look, there's loads of icons. You're probably going to mention Martin Samuel's one about the lunacy of keeping United. And then there's the Steve Bruce interview. They say it all in their interviews about where United are. So, you know, you talk about, obviously, Martin Samuel now and obviously Steve Bruce, what they've said. Yeah,
absolutely. You're absolutely right, Cass. Martin Samuel's saying that it would be saying the first sentence of his piece this morning in the Times, the Sunday Times, madness to sack him, madness to keep him. That's the problem with Erik ten Hag of Man United. To dismiss him before the FA Cup final would be crazy and wrong. He deserves the chance to end the season on a high. To keep him on, even if he wins at Wembley, would be more lunacy, as this is about the year, not one marquee fixture. But surely, with the problems that are at United, it's about more than the manager, isn't it?
Well, the people upstairs have got to think and believe, first of all, the recruitment team, how the transfers that some of them he would have had his hands on, how they've worked. They look at the numbers they've spent. You know, when you spend 80 million on Anthony and it doesn't work out, and other players, if they fall short, then the manager gets called in, you know.
And you're giving Casemiro that much money.
That contract for Casemiro was 4 years and paying a lot of money for him.
Yeah, 350,000 a week or something.
Yeah, and look, there's loads and loads of issues, but I can't see Man United keeping Ten Hag at all. There's too much wrong.
Because there's a problem. I mean, absolutely, he's had lots of injuries. And Sam, you say, are the problems further up?
Yeah, there has been.
But what's got nothing to do with the boardroom or Jim Ratcliffe or anybody else is the structure of the team. That's all down to the coach. And how many times have we said there's no DNA to this Man United team? And you can't see what they're doing. And even if you have lots of injuries, if you have a really good coach, Cass, surely those players that come in know the way that you want to play, and there's still a structure to the team, even if the players aren't as good as those who are missing, because obviously if they were good enough, they'd be in the first team to start with.
Well,
that's still the criticism. It's fire, isn't it?
You still might have to select some young lads with legs, but what you don't send out, which they sent out against Crystal Palace, is a team with no legs. Mm-hmm. You know, that cost them dearly. It was so obvious that when I saw the lineup, I was thinking, wow, this team don't cover the ground very quickly. A good number of them. But anyway, to talk about the Steve Bruce one as well.
Steve was really interesting. It's really nice dog as well.
Yeah, very nice dog. Yeah.
The dog's fitter than Steve.
I didn't say that, Steve.
He's looking very relaxed at the moment, Steve Bruce. You can tell he's been out of football for a little while. Joe Bernstein in the Mail on Sunday this morning. Great interview with Steve Bruce. It's very wide-ranging. He's basically sitting around talking about all the different things in his life at the moment, including the fact that the first result he looks out for is Man United's. But he's interesting quotes here. He says, performing like that, talking about Monday, is unacceptable for Man United, isn't it? He says, we know there are injuries, but you can't lose in that manner, as you were saying, Cass. The most frustrating thing for a manager is inconsistency. You sleep better when you know how your team will perform. I was privileged to be there for nearly a decade. The really great ones, Robson, Ryan Giggs, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane, weren't bothered by having a Lamborghini on the driveway. They just wanted to be the best player at the weekend. And it does feel, doesn't it, like the priorities are totally wrong at United at the moment in terms of, it's more about being flash than it is about actually just getting your head down and trying to be the best team in the country.
Well, they're not the first team to be accused of, having that idea about success. The success is about being the best team, not about who's got the fastest and the nicest car or the biggest house. Tough one. But also the line that I can see, the headline, United, he'd rather watch Salford.
Yeah, it was really sad. He said that just recently he's been going across to watch Salford play. He said that that there's only a sort of 3,000 attendance crowd there, but he said it's better because the players are actually in it for paying their mortgage effectively. They're there to put in 100% effort every single week, and he says he gets more joy from it now, which I think is quite a damning statement from somebody who was a United captain and a United legend, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think what we've seen this week, if we saw Dwight Yorke and Andy Cole yesterday, we've seen one Man United player after another who was part of the success of Old Trafford voice their opinion. There's going to be more of this. If this continues, there'll be more players saying this is just totally unacceptable. When you join Barcelona, but one of the great things about Barcelona, that they're not allowed to use their sports cars than they have in their private lives. They're not allowed to take them to the training grounds. They're not allowed to show it to the fans that how much luxuries they have in their life. I remember that in Marseille as well, that you had to be careful about fans getting really upset if you're having bad results and then suddenly you pull up in a brand new Lamborghini. It's not done. It's not done.
Yeah. There's one thing I don't believe in that piece, Sam, because Steve Bruce, surely like Cass, the first result they both look for is Gillingham. Surely that's really what it is, isn't it?
Of course it is, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Brucey would have to think about that one again.
Do you think he's got a way back in football, Steve Bruce?
Yes, I do. I think there'll be a place for him. Look, he seems to have got the hunger back. It's finding a job, and a job that also he's got to really believe in. When he's in his 60s and had a long career, he's done over 20-odd years in management. You don't want to be going to a job that you just think, this is going to be hard work. They're all hard work, but hard work as in, is it going to motivate me as well? And I think that's the big challenge for Steve. Yeah,
for sure. And just lastly on United, lots of pieces about this morning about potential candidates to replace Ten Hag. Do either of you see it as inevitable that Ten Hag leaves at the end of the season, or do you think he will still stay on because of the so-called lack of replacements?
I think given Jim Ratcliffe's record in building up Ineos to be one of the biggest companies in the country, I cannot see Ten Hag staying. That's not how Jim Ratcliffe built up his business, by looking at a manager. We're talking about a football manager, but a manager that's underperforming and keeping him in his job.
Well, you can't say the ground's a disgrace and all the facilities are a disgrace and all this, and then say, well, the first team's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a disgrace.
Weekend Sports Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.